I'm going to continue now a conversation with former ad man and commentator Happy Ntshingila on COVID corruption. What impact is this having on broader sentiment, and how do we manage growing frustration and expectations that in the short term might not be met? All part of a regular series on lunchtime where we go in depth with South Africans who are thinking deeply and critically about the future. Happy Ntshingila, good afternoon to you. You're worried about a multiplicity of voices, too much noise coming out of this debate, but very little being done.
Well, you see, Jeremy, this thing has got to be coordinated. It's a good thing that the government has come out and said, we need to do something about this. And the citizenry out there wants to see that something is getting done. However, because it's all happened so quickly, it looks like everybody is now running onto the pitch and they want to play center forward. Messaging needs to be coordinated so that it doesn't all get lost in translation. Yes, it's good to communicate what it is that you're going to do, but it's got to be coordinated so that it is all in sync. Right now, it seems that everybody just wants to go out there and say something.
How do you coordinate that messaging when there's so many competing agendas, I wonder?
Well, first and foremost is, unless you've got something to say, don't say it. So some investigations are going on. Some investigations are at a certain stage. Communicate what those investigations are and what stage they are at. But most importantly, Jeremy, I do not think that someone has stepped back and sat down to say, how do the executive powers and the judiciary of this country function? Instead of going out there and just making a statement that we're going to arrest people, explain the whole process. What do the Hawks do? What does the NPA do? What is the role of the SIU? And what is the role of the Asset Forfeiture Unit? So that people understand what it is that is being done by these different government departments. And therefore they can manage their own expectations around whether or not something is going to be done and how that is going to happen. Not all these government institutions have the powers to go and arrest somebody, but people just hear all of these big names being bandied about, and they say, well, nothing is going to happen, because nobody has sat back and said, let us explain exactly how these institutions function and what their role is. So at the moment, we're just hearing a lot of noise out there because people are almost in a frenzy wanting to demonstrate that they're doing something. But if you just talk and you don't explain to people what it is that you're doing and what the process is, it gets lost in translation.
On the other hand, there's also a lot of anger from people, Happy Ntshingila, because this COVID tender scandal has also impacted on sick people, people who are indigent. I'm wondering whether, in spite of all the messaging advice that you're giving, and it's good advice, whether this mightn't be the straw that actually breaks the camel's back here. People are saying enough is enough.
True that. I'm afraid that people are saying enough is enough. And I'm also afraid that because of the uncoordinated manner in which the communication is being purveyed out there, that doesn't help the situation. The situation gets even more complicated because people do not understand that beyond all of this communication, what actions are being taken and by whom, which is why I was at pains to say, try and explain how the forces of government and all those institutions function. And indeed, if something is happening, there is nothing wrong with giving an update about where we are with Investigation X. So far, we've heard that a lot of people are being investigated, but no one has given us the status.
That's Happy Ntshingila. Thank you very much indeed. And this is ENCA Lunchtime.